Hello and thank you for pressing play. Welcome to A Beer with Bear or Any Other Beverage. This is episode 79 with Carol B. Rebbel, who is the guitarist and singer for one of psychobilly's finest, the As Dia Batz. Frank and I caught up with Carol this past spring via StreamYard. We discussed her upbringing in Brazil, the early days of the band, and their initial performances. Sadly, we also talked about how As Dia Batz came to an end and what she's been up to since, including her new country project. I've had the privilege of hosting As Dia Batz on my show twice in the past, and as a fan, it was disappointing to see the band split. However, I'm glad that Carol continues to create music, and I eagerly anticipate her future projects. Beer with Bear is available where podcasts are heard: iTunes, Spotify, Libsyn, to name a few, YouTube, and SoundCloud.com. That's right, full episodes of our recent and upcoming shows will now be available on YouTube, along with audio previews, video clips, and more. Please support the show and the artists who come on by hitting like and subscribe, leave a positive rating, write a review, and tell your friends. While you're at it, don't forget to like us on Facebook at Beer with Bear Pod, Twitter at Beer with Bear, and Instagram at Beer with Bear Podcast. That's right, due to some technical issues, we are no longer using the Beer with Bear Pod handle. You want to follow us at Beer with Bear Podcast. There, along with our other social media, you'll find pictures, videos, updates for upcoming episodes, and it's also the best way to contact us. We'd love to hear from you. Theme music by Chris Helking, graphic design by Jeremy Fletcher Borsey, mixing and post-production by Ryan Myles. Thank you very much and enjoy. Okay, and we are recording now, and I am here with Carol, Baby Rebbel, or Carol B. Rebbel, as it says on your name there on the screen. How you doing?
Hey, Bear. How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
I am doing really good. I'm glad this happened for a couple of reasons. One, we've been planning this out for a little while. I know your schedules weren't meeting, and then you're waiting for your new project to start, which is delayed, but still going to happen. And I'm glad it happened too, because I didn't know there was a time change today, or I forgot there was a time change. So I was here an hour early waiting, wondering, what the hell is she? What is going on? Did she stand me up?
I was on my way home, so I couldn't have done anything about it. But I'm glad we managed. So, yeah.
All right, cool. So we're going to talk about a lot of things, hopefully. But first thing I want to do is talk about, what have you been up to since the last time you were in Los Angeles? Well, that would be 2018, right? September?
Yeah, that's right. Well, since the end of the band, I haven't had a band since then. I haven't been playing, well, officially not, but unfortunately, I have played less and less music, also at home, which frustrates me because it's just a matter of having less time to do things, and also putting my creativity someplace else, because I'm a graphic designer and I need to work creatively the whole day, and then when I come home, it's like I just have to shut it off. And yeah, but it's starting again, and I think I have something cooking up. Like I have a good ideas for a new project, something completely different. A lot more. Well, it's pretty much country. So I do consider myself to be a country singer. That's I have always played psychobilly and punk rock. That's how I started in my music career. But when I sing country or bluegrass or something, that's my element, and that's where my voice really shines. So I'm trying to, go for that route.
Yeah, you mentioned your voice. You also, too, I think your playing has its style, too. I mentioned earlier And when I think the first time you were on, it kind of had a Batmobile feel to it, but of course your own. And your voice definitely stands out. I mentioned I was having you on to a friend of mine who's a fan. He's like, "Oh, I love her voice." I'm like, "Isn't it? Yeah, her voice, your voice, and you're playing. The three of you worked really well in As Dia Batz. It's had it was very minimalist, but it was a perfect 3-piece sound. Claw on the drums, Claudia on the bass. It was just I love it.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to hear that. I mean, it's not like we were really, like we weren't trying to be geniuses in playing our instruments, but we wanted to do something true and something. You can't be too technical with psychobilly because it's still underground. It's still, it can't be too elaborate or something because otherwise it loses that feeling, So
yeah, sometimes you get the bands there. Sometimes it sounds good, but I use the word, it sounds a little too polished. Like with some psychobilly bands, some of the newer ones especially, I'm like, it's good, but a little polished. I want some. Can we throw some dirt and spill some beer on it, please?
Yeah, exactly. It needs the roughness. So we knew we were going to do that, and it all went so fast, and we had to develop so fast as well to to keep up with all the things that we were doing, and we were getting bigger and bigger. And as I said, we just needed to keep doing what we wanted to do in the beginning, whatever happens, and that was, I think, the best attitude that any band could have. I think that's what's actually got us so far, is that we were never pretentious about it. Like we never wanted to get that far. We just wanted to have fun. We just wanted to play music, and we were friends, and we were having fun, and that's how it started. So that's the main thing.
A similar thing too, where I could say I didn't want to get famous or big, but a part of me did. But one of the reasons I wanted, when I did play in a band, I wanted to open up for the bands I liked. I want to hang out backstage. It's one of those things. I want to get backstage and hang out. Like I want to hang out with the Klingons. I want to hang out with Frantic. I want to hang out with As Dia Batz. You guys, what year did you guys start?
We started in 2006 or 7.
Oh, okay. So you weren't in America yet then at that time, because I was like a 2007, 6, 7, 8. We stopped playing around later on, but that was like my time for playing. So I don't think I learned who you guys were probably till like the 2010s. I stumbled upon you guys.
Yeah. I don't remember anymore what year it was, but it was,
like you said though, I
think it was 2015, maybe.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
That much later, but I remember our first international concert was in Pineda de Mar, so in Spain, psychobilly meeting.
Yeah,
that was our 4th gig. It's like
that was your 4th gig.
Yeah, it was our 4th gig.
Wow, things did move pretty quick for you. Your 4th gig.
Yeah, I don't know how I can explain that. Like it just, we released a demo on MySpace at that point.
Yes.
Yeah, I loved MySpace. It was
gather around, children. Let's talk about MySpace.
Yeah.
Did you have what was your profile? Did you have like the music and the cool background on it?
Of course, it was all leopard and and I and with red, all over red, and
you got to customize your friends list and stuff. Your favorite goes first.
Exactly, and that was always very difficult. I think. Actually, funny story. One of my relationships at that point ended because he started changing his friends on MySpace. So I picked something up there, and I was right. I should have. I did the right thing. He was really trying to hide, So.
That's funny. So you put your first demo on MySpace. Yeah. That was MySpace, especially for the 2000s psychobilly. I think for any scene, really changed the game, because you're able to get your music, not only your music out there, but your shows out there to a much broader audience. That along, and that went hand in hand with, I think, YouTube as well around that time too. YouTube was new.
Yeah, exactly. It was all about being independent as a musician, putting your stuff out there, and then, it wasn't about money or anything. I don't think there were even ads on MySpace. I think
They came later. I remember that they would come later. I remember one in particular that was kind of annoying. It was a dating app. I'm trying to go to click on something. All of a sudden, some girl's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" The camera's looking at her butt, and it goes up. You want what and then like, if you want this, you have to go to this website. I remember that was one of the first ones
kilometers away.
Yeah, that's one of the ones that was annoying. Like, fuck! I'm trying to click on something that pops up.
Yeah.
But that was later. That was later in MySpace. But in the beginning, there weren't ads. It was very just shows. And then of course there was a MySpace drama, but that's nothing new with social media. That's well, at the time especially. What was new for us, but now it's the drama in social media has always been there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's always been there. It's social, right? It's people. People, they can suck a little bit sometimes. So, yeah. No.
All right, so I'll get us back on track. So you released your first your music on MySpace, and on your fourth gig you played Pineda.
Yeah, that's what happened. I mean, we released it, and then all of a sudden people started writing us, and we played some local gigs just in Curitiba, where we started the band, in South Brazil. And we got an invite, and then we said, of course we're going. And that's when we recorded Riding Through the Devil's Hill. That was the trip. So we went there, we recorded it in Holland, and we after the recordings we went to the festival and played it, our gig there. Yeah.
And for that recording, so you're so new to the scene. I like when I had Dax on from the Gossip Creeps, I think the first album took was, I fucking forgot how long it took. It was like a couple of days, I think. I had to double check, but it was a matter of days. Second one was like a matter of weeks, and the last one was like months. Like it just as the band progressed, the recordings got took longer. But the earlier years though, how long did it take? Basically, how long did it take for you guys to do that first album, and compared to the later ones, which we'll get to later?
I think it was a week or like 10 days. Like I did some preparation for it, because you have to record the guiding guitars.
Yeah, the scratch track.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I did, and then the girls arrived in Holland, and we started recording the whole thing. And I think after a week or 1.5 weeks, we went off to Spain. So.
So I'm trying to imagine that you're probably like in your early 20s, your fourth gig. You're flying to record your first album before you play a festival in Spain with probably who are some of the who was on that lineup for that festival?
Oh, that's wow! It's a long time ago. Oh my God, Nigel Lewis played that same night, and that was magical. Like I was astonished. And you can imagine that if you go to any band on social media, if they post anything, there will be a ton of Brazilians saying, "Please come to Brazil." And that's how we miss things there. Like bands don't just travel to Brazil, so it's not that often that we see the bands that we love, especially at that point in the psychobilly scene. Like, Batmobile had never been in Brazil. Demented Argo had never been in Brazil, or no, they had been there once. And the Meteors had also been there once. And so imagining seeing these bands, it was really special for us. I don't remember.
I'm so sorry. Okay, I'm mixing up the timeline here. Was this in Pineda, or is because you said Brazil now? These bands came to Brazil. Because I was referring to them. What
I mean is that we could have never imagined seeing these bands.
Oh, I got you. Okay.
They wouldn't go there. So it was like we were so lucky to be in Spain, because that's where the bands were.
Okay.
So that's what I meant by it. So.
And this is going to be a little embarrassing, but I don't think I know who Nigel Lewis is. Could you fill me and the listeners in?
So Nigel Lewis is the first bass player of the Meteors.
Oh, okay.
And then he founded the Tall Boys with Mark Robertson. And, oh God, I forgot his name. Oh, he's so nice.
Okay, so I know the Tall Boys, and of course I know the bass player from the first Meteors. Okay, I know the voice, I know the playing. Okay,
yeah.
Cool.
So
I just didn't know the name. I'm really bad with names, Carol.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, but that's the one I remember. That's one that stuck with me for sure. I think there were other funny bands, but yeah, I don't remember anymore. You would have to look it up. I wish I had like another phone where I could just check. But
well, if you want, what year was it?
It was 2008.
Oh, okay. All right then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time. So go ahead and yeah, because I can do it too, but it's gonna be like a weird quiet thing here.
Yeah,
but
that's all right.
All right, cool. So no, I know when hearing like you talk about how bands don't go to Brazil, how it was really hard for you to see some of the bands you really love. I was actually very fortunate at the time when I first got into psychobilly. At the very beginning, my very first show was a West Coast Records Ball in 2002. Not my first show, one of my first early psychobilly shows, and that lineup was absolutely insane too. Like you mentioned, and then it seems like from then on, a lot of those big bands started coming to the U.S. So I was very fortunate enough to where I got to see a lot of those bands because you mentioned people don't want to go to Brazil. At the time, all those bands wanted to come to America. They wanted to go to the beach. They wanted to go to Hollywood. I remember you guys wanted to go to Hollywood. I'm like, ew.
I understood that pretty quickly though.
I'm like, oh, why? But like I said, I'm a loco, so I know that. Ugh,
yeah,
don't touch anything while you're out there.
But it's got some kind of, we thought it was glamorous, but it isn't, and it's still something nice to tell people about. Like, well, I've been in Hollywood, and it's world famous. So, but yeah, like the thing about Brazil is that it's usually a bit expensive to organize gigs there. So that's part of the problem. So I think in the US, it's a bit easier to organize all the things that you need, and maybe that's why, and people can buy more in the US, maybe with their salaries. So maybe inflation or whatever it is, but. Yeah, now I think things are much better in Brazil when it comes to bands. Like, people in Brazil have seen a lot of psychobilly bands by now, right? So it's been 15 years since that point that we talked about when we were in Pineda.
Yeah, 2008. And the thing is so I from what I hear, the scene was strong everywhere. It was for sure in the U.S., really strong. And then I've talked to other bands around that time too. One of them called it the Necromantics Effect. That's what he said. I don't know if that's why, but he worldwide, like every scene it seems like it was just thriving. And there's so many bands coming up, some good, some bad. But still, the point is there were bands. There's people out there going for it, which you think about now is you don't see as much. So it was a very special time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was really, it was, as you said, it was really special because I think there were a lot of bands that were growing really fast, just like As Dia Batz did, and we had new blood. And I don't think this is happening now. Like, I think I haven't been in the scene for a few years, and I haven't been to a psychobilly concert in since the end of As Dia Batz, really, to be honest. And
did that just kind of happen, or is that like were you actively trying to avoid the scene after that? Did this leave a really bad taste in your mouth? Did you want nothing to do with it, or did you just need a break?
I did, yeah, and I realized a lot of things while I was doing that. It wasn't like actively avoiding it, but I didn't feel like really being there, like, especially because a lot of people talked to me about the incident with As Dia Batz and why the band was over, or they came to me and said, asked me if how's As Dia Batz going? Are you still playing? And I'm like, no. And then what? And then I have to explain the whole thing. That was part of the problem, and something that really that got me a little, well, as you said, like a bad taste in my mouth was the way people stood up for us when things happened, and then later on did something completely different, like turned, took sides, or just supported us, and then later did exactly the opposite of what they said they were
on social media.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I don't know why people try to do that, because yeah, support is nice, but I'm not asking people to stop doing a certain thing to support us. So why say it? Why say that and not keep it? Like I didn't care for that anymore. So yeah.
And we won't get into too much detail to specifics, but we'll just call the breakup, the incident, because like I said, we don't need to stir up others, we don't want to stir up old stuff, but we'll just call it the incident between you guys.
Yeah, well, there was an altercation in Mexico and with another band that most people know, and there were different opinions within our band, and that's how, like, Claudia and the bass player and I kind of we took our we just went separate ways from Clau, the drummer. We couldn't agree on things, and yeah, it was a huge disappointment, and it was life-changing for me and Claudia, at least. It was like a turning point.
And I know Claudia's not here. I would love to have her on again sometime in the future. I spoke to her afterwards on social media, and I remember the time, I think she sent me a picture. She was in the band, the Trash Bags, I think they were called, and I eventually got to hear them. But from what I understand, you that band that sounded really good, by the way. That band sounded fucking cool. I was looking forward to more of it. But you told me she's like yourself. She kind of took a break from the scene, kind of made a family now, or.
Yeah, she's a mom now. So, yeah, she's had a son, and she's happy, and everything's good. And the thing that I think we both realized is that part of the scene is having the need of belonging somewhere or to a certain group, and freeing yourself from that feeling was exactly what we needed, because we don't feel like we need to belong anywhere. We're just who we are. When we interact with anyone that has something in common with us, that we click, and people we click with, it doesn't matter really what bands they listen to, or what kind of psychobilly they listen to, or what kind of leopard print they like. Like it's so free. It's just, it's a lot easier for me, at least.
Yeah, you mentioned the sense of belonging in this scene. I took a break myself too, especially when I got sober the first time. Like, for those who listen to the show or who don't know, that I have a history with addiction, which is actually one of the reasons I missed your last performance out here, because I remember messaging you saying, "Yeah, come on the show. I'll be out there." But I think I ended up drinking myself into a blackout that weekend and not making it. Telling myself, they'll be back here again, not knowing that would be the last time, not only that you guys were in America, but performing. So.
Yeah. And it's also part of belonging, like, of course, addiction has a lot of other reasons, but it's also peer pressure. It's also kind of like trying to fit in and trying to make yourself more comfortable with situations, compensating, and like for insecurities or anything. So it also has a lot to do with that, in my opinion.
I think there is some positivity when it comes to the sense of belonging part, because when I first did find psychobilly, I really did like that community, that sense of belonging, that friendship you get with people who are into the same music. You mentioned the same leopard print, because at the time, there weren't a lot of people who were into it. So when you found your group, it was very very exciting, very, very new. But as you mentioned, as time goes on, it was my whole life at one point. Psychobilly was everything to me. And when I first left the scene, I didn't know who I was. And I, like yourself, I eventually found myself outside of that world. And like yourself, I like the sense of belonging, but I don't need it as much as I thought I did when I was deep in it, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I think there's a certain level of it that is very healthy, which is when you find people that are like minded and with you, and so you have things to talk about. That's important too, and that's what what makes it like so like it's people welcome you into it, and no, everyone wants that. But as you said, it was my whole life too. It was a lot of my identity was dependent on it, and if that scene was to be over, then at that point I thought, okay, who am I? And after my band was over, I had to ask myself these questions. I had to think like what do I really like? Have I been maybe giving in to some other people's opinions about what I should listen to, what I should look like, or what I should wear? And I think I did, to be honest. And I ended up going back to when I was a teenager, like at 15. That's who I was, and that's who I am now again. It's so weird because I just listen to the same things that I did back then, and I wear the same things, and it was just right before I started getting more into psychobilly. So it's kind of crazy, but I still love the years, when I was in the psychobilly scene. It was very important to me, and I met amazing people. But I think that I have found my true self again. So, yeah.
And that's where you said, that's why with your new direction, you want to go more in a country route, because that's where your voice originates from, and that's where you feel the most comfortable at. Is there ever a chance of you possibly ever playing psychobilly again? Not just with As Dia Batz, but just yourself in another project, or maybe a collaboration?
Well, the Scam from Holland.
No, but yeah, I have a feeling you're about to tell me.
Yeah, Scam is a band that started in the 80s in Rotterdam.
Oh, wait. Okay, it sounded familiar now. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. So they have just released a new album, and I'm on it. I sing. Kind of a country song, kind of a rock, like rockabilly, psychobilly. It's all in there, but it has a country touch, and that's how I think Myles got the idea of getting me to sing it. So yeah, it's just out.
It's out now?
Yeah, it is. I think it's been 3 weeks.
All right, I'll tell you what. Let's play that track right now on the show.
Yeah, it's called Codeine Arms by Scam. Well, it's the cover. It's a version, but it's something different, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Hard is a poor bird, weary and worn. There's no place to perch in this orchard of thorns. Still blazing jagged, it's cold out and torn. It's hungry, Lord, and ragged, it's weary and worn. Ooh, codeine arms, wrap around me safe and warm. Under the light of your sweet charms, save me, codeine arms. It's a bad night to be outside, it's a tough way to go. Got losing cards in your hand, nothing there to show. Till the angels hear you coming, don't they fly away? It would be just me come Judgment Day. Ooh, codeine arms, wrap around me safe and warm. Under the light of your sweet charms, save me, codeine arms. A belly full of codeine brings the high spirits down. The spirits in my glass will wash the codeine down. But when the shotguns ring, I won't feel a thing. I won't feel a thing. I won't feel fade. Ooh, codeine arms wrap around me safe and warm under the light of your sweet charms. Save me, codeine arms. Save me.
Okay, so tell me about that. We'll go back into the everything else later, but I want to hear about this particular song and your involvement. How'd they call you? Is it email? Did you say no at first? Or I want to hear the whole thing.
Right. So Mars is an old friend of mine. We met when I was in Holland back then. Like, I think it was 2009. I lived in Holland for a while, and in Rotterdam. And his wife is one of my best friends, Diana. They're coming to my wedding, by the way. And it's, we've always been friends. And we never lost touch, although I have moved around, went back to Brazil, and now I live in Germany. And we try to meet every year. So, when he wanted, to release an album, he asked me, and I said yes right away, because it's fun. We've always done a bit of music together and just home recordings. When I come to visit, apart from just hanging out, we try to record a song or just a version of something that we like, with Mars and Diana as well. So Diana has her own project. It's called Dia and the Honeytones. And and they're great musicians, and we get along. So I couldn't say no.
Awesome. I like it. I'm like I said, I get excited the fact that I was disappointed when As Dia Batz broke up, because I wouldn't be able to, see you guys live, have you on the show again, experience the whole, what am I saying here? Basically, I'm glad you're still active. I'm glad you're still creating music and art outside of the band, As Dia Batz.
Yeah.
And I want to ask you, so when we talk about when we were talking off the record, you were talking about that new album, how you had really high hopes for it, how you thought it was actually, you really liked the direction you were going in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
absolutely.
the album is called, let's talk about that album, but the last one you recorded with As Dia Batz.
So Nightmares in Red was our last album. It was a really special album, and we tried to record this for 3 years, I think.
See, like I said earlier, 10 days, as the band progresses, it seems like the albums take longer.
Yeah, it takes longer, and of course we had a very special situation at that point, because I lived in Germany, and both of the girls lived in Brazil. Then Claudia moved to Belgium. And that's when, we were talking to Doily from the Diablo Records. We wanted to release an album with him and record with him. And we ended up canceling twice because things, one of us got a new job and couldn't go on vacation at that point, where we scheduled something, or like it just... everything was working against us, and we were so sorry, to disappoint Doily, but he understood.
For those listening who don't know, Doily is Diablo Records, like you mentioned. He's also from the Guitar Slingers, and most famously from the Klingons. Amazing guitar player. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah. So we were excited about that, and unfortunately we had to, just have a break and think about what we wanted to do. And of course we didn't want to bother Doily with our with our stuff anymore, so then
having to make cancel replan.
Exactly. We didn't want to risk it again, and then we talked to Christoph from Psychobilly Records a year or two later. We had our first album, well, all of our albums actually were released by Psychobilly Records. And the thing is that we wanted to record with Doily because it would be something special. He would be the producer of our album too. So that was the thought there. But releasing it with Psychobilly Records was always an option. And so we talked to Christoph. He was really interested. And then we found a really cool studio called Yellow Tape in Ghent, in Belgium. And they record on tape, like analog. Of course, that's all digitalized, so that you can mix and cut and everything. But so it was really nice because we experienced another type of recording, and a type of recording that, you know, people used to do back in the day. Like what we were going for, what kind of sound we were going for is exactly that. So
vintage analog sound, that tape sound.
Yeah.
That room noise that you hear before the track goes.
Yeah, it's something special. There was I think right in the beginning of the record you can hear the tape roll like that. So so we did that, just, you know, like it was deliberate. We wanted that in there to let people know how we did it. Most of the songs I started writing alone in this apartment, which I'm in, and because we wouldn't really wouldn't practice at any point, you know, like we were just meeting up to play concerts once a year or twice a year maybe, and practicing right before those concerts. So we didn't really have that band experience anymore of going to a rehearsal room to write. Yeah. So I was writing alone, and things obviously took an amazing twist when the girls came to visit for the recordings. They were like, I think a month before the recordings, they stayed at my house, and we wrote that album. Like, we finished the songs that I had, and that's
cool, because that's when the chemistry really kicks in, because everyone can put their input on it. You know, everyone's voice is heard, and like I said, you guys work really well together. So if you're doubting yourself on something, you may say, "No, it's good," or maybe say you like something. No, I don't like that. Like, it won't work. Like, that's one thing too, especially the doubting yourself part. I've noticed, and whenever I do that, I really doubt myself on certain things. But then when I get another pair of eyes on it, who's maybe in the same field of what I'm doing, whether it be podcasting, recording, it's good to have that input.
Absolutely. And things change as well. Like, you know, you have a riff, and then mostly with, I worked on melodies with Claudia. So she gave me a bass line, and it changed the whole riff, and it became a song. And then, you know, it just, we had this amazing, we were in sync. After 10 years playing together, 12 years playing together, we were just right there with each other. We would know what to do. And then we finished all those songs. It was like really intense month, because we had, the recordings were booked, and we had to deliver that album. And then we were there for 2 weeks, and it was long nights, especially for me, because, the girls did an amazing job, but their parts were done pretty fast, because it was just the bass, air quotes, just bass and drums. Of course, it's just the one thing, but I had to do the guitar solos, and vocals. So that was 3 things that I needed to do. So obviously it took a long time, and I was really tired, but it all paid off. Absolutely.
No, like I said, I got to hear the album. Also, one track in particular really stood out to me. It became my favorite track, I think, ever from you guys, is A Cabin in the Woods. Like, I freaking love that goddamn song. Yeah. Everything about it is perfect. That's the length of it, the way it begins, the way it ends, the solo in the middle. Hold on, let's play it real quick. Okay, here's Cabin in the Woods by As Dia Batz.
Walking along the darker side of town, looking for someone with everyone all around. I hear some voices coming from the cabin in the woods.
I had to hear that solo.
I love this song. It's also one of my favorites in the album. Absolutely. It's well, I can tell you the story behind it if you want.
I would love to hear the story. I would love to hear
Yeah.
the story. I want to hear this, the writing of it, the recording of it, that snare in the back, that pop, 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 pop. Like I said, that dun 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 dun. It's, I don't mean this in a salty way. It's so simple but perfect.
Yeah. I'm proud of this song. I really am. And I wrote this song because I experienced like love at first sight. And when I met my boyfriend at that time, it was one night and I couldn't stop thinking about him. It was amazing. And he was playing in another band and I started talking to him a bit more, and it ended up being a relationship that lasted like for 2.5 years. And yeah, and it was a night. It was so funny because we were, it was a festival in Holland. And you know, in Holland, they camp really like a lot. They go camping and they have these camping sites and they have little houses and trailers and so on. And it's all kind of nice. And the bands that played in this festival were, that's where they slept. It was their hotel and it was all in the woods and it was kind of nice. So we had a little cabin there, and in our cabin we got both bands together, the band I was playing with and this band, and we didn't have any beer. And so I found beer at some point. Like that's I think that's why I say I know someone. I whisper in his ear.
Nice.
Because I really wanted this night to be the night where I had beer with this guy. Like I really wanted to talk to him. So I said, you know, I'm getting the beer. And it was 2 a.m. and I got it. So I got it delivered. And
Wow, so you're making the moves.
Yeah, I was. And yeah, and it was just kind of magical, I think. And yeah, that's when I wrote the lyrics, and the song happened when we, Claudia and I, were here in this apartment, and we started playing. And then I had a little riff, and I said, well, maybe we can use this lyrics as well. And then she started playing the bass, and I had no idea what the bass was going to do. She did it, and it became the song. You know, it was like, it was one of the songs where she also had a lot to, like, her contribution was big. Yeah.
Yeah, the way it ended, like I told you, I love the way it begins. Also, the way it ends, like it's such like on a, like not really abruptly, but just on a powerful note. You know, cabin in the woods, wing. It just adds such a cool ending to it too. Like I said, something about that song gets me. Now I know the history of it too, the writing of it. It's different now. It's so cool. It's so cool.
Yeah,
but there are other good songs in there too. Just for those listening, hear the whole album. There are some other good tracks in it, but that one really, really stood out.
Yeah, I hear a lot about this song. Like people that have the album or listen to the album always talk about it. It's kind of
okay.
Yeah,
I'm not alone.
No,
And the rest of the direction for this album, do you want to talk a little bit about that too, as well, as far as the writing process, some of the other direction? Because like you said earlier too, that you felt something really special with this particular album. You had something going, the three of you.
Yeah. Well, I think the songs started getting a little bit more elaborate. I started putting, well, we had a lot of time in the end, like not for all the details, like the last month or weeks where we worked on the songs were kind of half done, but I think I started thinking about the little details that I was going to put into these songs, the girls as well. And that's how I think my guitar style, it didn't change, but it got a bit more layered, so that I started putting guitars on top of it and just on top of each other and kind of trying to create an atmosphere. And I think that I managed to do it in that one. in that album. So yeah, I was really pleased, and I think it's also I think it's our most creative album. I think we have a lot of facets to it. Like all the songs, they're like, I think Riding Through the Devil's Hill is where we started, and we wanted to keep it very simple and very old school, very traditional. And once we got to Nightmares in Red 10 years later, or 12 years later, it just, we weren't bound to that tradition anymore. We were known for being a band that kind of looks for an 80s style of psychobilly, you know, but we didn't have to do that anymore. We could add some more to it and still be known as As Dia Batz. So it changed a bit of our identity, maybe. And I think that's the album that could have been bigger, because we would have toured, like we wanted to go to Europe and tour Europe with this album. And yeah, unfortunately it was I think it was released in August, and the band was September. Over. Yeah, exactly.
When I was looking at the Facebook too, I saw the post too when you first announced your drummer leaving, and then the final announcement. Because like I said before, I was doing some prep for the episode. I was trying to find some background picture to put in the background and make it like As Dia Batz spook. I couldn't find anything that quite fit, so I just put little bats in the cemetery there to kind of fit the mood. And next time you come on with your country project, I'll have something country. I got some horses, some acoustics.
Yeah. Please do that.
No. Oh man. So yeah, like I said, it really was unfortunate that the split happened when it did. Like I said, not only for selfish reasons too, because I get to hang out with As Dia Batz. Like I said, I like going backstage. I like hanging out with the bands. Even when I was in the band, that was always my favorite part. I brought this up before too. That's why I like the podcast, is because the thing I miss the most about, like, of course, the stage is fun, the playing the music's fun, but the camaraderie between the bands, the other artists, and all the different people you meet, the traveling, it was just so much fun.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was a lot of exchange as well. When you talk to other musicians about what their opinions are on things. Yeah. And also all the technical stuff that you can learn.
Oh yeah.
Just talking to people, what kind of pedal do you use? What kind of?
I got this feedback problem. Help me, and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And we always helped each other. Whenever there's a cable that's defective, or a pedal that doesn't work, or a battery that's empty, or whatever, it was always really amazing. And we had really amazing nights backstage with the other bands. And some of the bands were also people that we looked up to, and we had done that for years before. And then all of a sudden you sit next to them and you're having like, just a beer with them, just talking. It's great. Also because we come from so far away, so we couldn't imagine getting so close to the people. Like it was an awesome time, and I agree with you. Special.
One of the last festivals you did too that was pretty cool was, I think it was a Cyclone. I think it was the last time I had you guys on. Was it 2016? We did a hotel. Yeah. You guys didn't know about the. Oh, you guys told me it's 12 o'clock tomorrow. I'm like, it's gonna be kind of early, but okay. I show up, you guys are still knocked out and hungover from the night before.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I was at your window. I'm like, Cara.
That was you.
Yeah, me, and I forgot the other guy's name because he spoke Portuguese. Well, I'm just giving him Portuguese. I'm like, yeah. Like
it was Luca. Yeah.
Yeah, Luca. Me and Luca were in the front. I was like, what the fuck are they? I'm like, they said 12 o'clock. I had a feeling this was going to happen. Because, like I said, you were, partying the night before. I think you guys were dancing and I just...
We did not sleep.
Yeah.
Because we were jet lagged. And in Europe, it was... I don't know. I just couldn't sleep, and then I slept for almost 2 days straight after that. I don't know what happened. I missed a whole day of the festival. I kind of hate myself for that because I missed a lot of good bands that I wanted to see, but it was so weird. I felt weird, and as I said, I arrived. I saw the first night, then partied all night and talked to people all night, and then it was like the morning, and in Europe it was the afternoon already. So I was past that point of needing sleep at all. And so then we did the podcast. I went straight to bed, and I woke up the next morning when I need to go to the airport.
Okay, so you were Luca was his name. He hit me up when he was out here. I know he was staying out here for a while, and he was visiting LA, and or he was staying in LA. When he hit me up to hang out, like that's when I was really deep in my addiction, because my addiction came in waves. When I first met you, I was sober. Like when that first time in 2015 at that hotel, I had all that beer left over. I think I gave it away, but and then I relapsed after. And then, like I said, so when he hit me up, I was kind of a shut-in. That's the thing when I drink. I become a shut-in. I don't go out, you know. And that's what happened the night you guys performed. I stayed home.
Oh, no. Well, but you saw us, I think, sometime later, right?
No. I'm talking about the last time you guys came out. Before that, yeah, all your shows, I went to them. I got to see every time you went out here. Like,
that's great.
When you were still together. Yeah, and I've had you on twice. One of them I don't talk about anymore. I wasn't proud of that episode. I was still new, and like I said, I was nervous, and it was they call it the high voice episode to make fun of me.
Oh no!
Yeah, because my pitch was higher. And, yeah, I was just yeah.
I think we were kind of awkward too. Like I don't know. It was we were new to this too, so.
Yeah. Also, too, I think it was because I just met you the night before for like 5 minutes. Then, next thing you know, okay, I'm downstairs your hotel room in my own room. You know. Yeah. Because I got the room, the same hotel that you and Clax got, because I wanted to get both you and Clax that same night. So I worked it out to have it that way. So yeah, it was. Yeah, it's. I guess we didn't really know each other, but.
Yeah, we were just a bit shy. I think we were kind of feeling the situation. It was like, but then the second time was much better. Then we knew what to do, and it was yeah.
I had my pet hamster there and making noise in the background.
Yeah, that was cute.
At the hotel room. So you were talking about how you were because I never dealt with jet lag before over the years.
It's it just knocks you out, man. It's like you can't do anything about it. You can only sleep, and I don't know. It was kind of weird because I slept really long, and I'm not a long sleeper at all. Like I need like an 8-hour maximum, and I slept all the way through, and I couldn't get myself out of bed. It was really weird. Yeah. But
no, it's cool. I knew ahead of time though that it wasn't going to happen, but I just got ready just in case, because I'm an early bird, especially because my job outside well, not outside this, I don't get paid for this, but when I'm on my normal day job, it's an early morning thing. So like I said, 12 o'clock is nothing for me. 7 o'clock, I could do mornings easily. Mm-hmm. And I think, too, you mentioned about helping each other people out, too. I remember when I got that interview together with you guys, I ambushed you backstage. I was able to connect you with Tani, Remy and Tani, because they were at the time doing a documentary. So I was able to, we were able to give you both interviews in one room. We gave them our room, and I loaned him my sound guy.
Yeah.
So I never got to see what happened with that interview. But still, like I said, the idea is that you guys... everyone helps each other out here. You guys are very friendly, willing to do interviews. And like I said, we look out for each other. At least we did when the scene was up and going, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Now that you mentioned the help that the scene gives, within itself, I played Frank's guitar on that festival.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was it. And I mean, it's a guitar. It's like your baby, you know? And he gave it to me. It was because, the thing is about traveling to the US to play. It's if you have a guitar, you need a visa. It's not that, it's not that easy. And then you need like a working visa, and all of a sudden things get really difficult. So we just traveled there as tourists, and then that's why we always needed guitars from other people, and we always got them. Lines. They were always awesome guitars, awesome basses, and it was never a problem, and I'm really thankful for that. And people just they want to see things happening, and that's why they put in some effort and leave their egos behind, or their they don't protect their things anymore because they want to see a band and they want to make things happen. So that's really cool. Yeah.
Also, too, it's kind of cool when it's a band you're a fan of gets to use your equipment. Because I used to loan my bass to a lot of people too. Because I do still have a very nice bass, and like a lot of bands would borrow it. Like I remember I let freaking Starlight Wranglers want to use it. And I'm like, yes, Starlight could do it. Batmobile, not Batmobile. That band Robin. I'm showing my age here. Want to use it. 6 Sinners. I'm like, so I'd always loan it out, and I always took a picture of them with them. Like, oh, no problem. Stay still, please.
Yeah.
So there's also that.
Yeah, it was a thing. It was definitely a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we couldn't have done.
The only time I ever had issue borrowing equipment was probably sometimes amps. I know sometimes people are weird with their amps. If you don't know them, their settings and stuff. That's the only time I ever really had an issue that I can remember.
I can remember bass players also kind of overdoing it with the dragging the bass around on the stage and climbing up the bass and so on. And if it's a borrowed bass, you kind of don't do that. Like
yeah. No, they asked if they could stand on it. I said, yeah, it's fine, because I'm okay with the standing. But just the biggest thing with me is don't pick it up and slam it, because that's one thing that's a big no-no, which I found out because I had to get it repaired for that reason. Like I had to get it reinforced in the bottom because it was caved in from. Because when the builder told me, whatever you do, don't pick it up. That's the last thing you don't want to do.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Like
okay.
That particular point is vulnerable where the stem's at.
Yeah. And the dragging also, it just kind of screws up the varnish or whatever finish you have on the base. So if you don't like the used look, you're gonna have to repaint it or something. So it's kind of.
I still have mine in storage because I haven't played in so long. I always think about, should I get it repainted and refinished? But a part of me wants to keep it the way it is because I look at it, I have it's that memories, that wear and tear to it. Kind of, I don't know. I'm still debating, should I get it repainted, refixed, or keep it the way it is?
Yeah, I kind of like fucked up instruments, like guitars. If they're all kind of roughed up, I really like that.
Just adds character to it, I guess. And then also just you mentioned earlier you need some grit. Like we're talking about the recording, so I said like if it's too clean, if it's too polished,
Yeah, so that's a part of it. I guess it's just the way it looks. I mean, then it has history to it. Then you're not facing it. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I hope to have a guitar like that someday, but I think I'd take too good care of it.
Yeah. No. Like I said, you don't want to just I don't want you to go rough sandpaper on purpose or something. It has to happen naturally.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just like wear and tear.
Yeah. Did you know that Dax Dragster still has he only uses one guitar, since the one he uses now is the very first one he bought for the Godless Wicked Creeps? It's still the same guitar.
Oh wow, that's great. So he got it like right the first time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you got it right, or I think he just likes it. Like Frank noticed it, and he pointed it out during the interview. He's like, "Yeah, I've only ever bought one guitar, and this is it. This he's used for his recordings." So it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is. I don't remember what kind of guitar he used, but I think it was a semi-hollow body, or don't remember if it was a Gretsch or something.
It wasn't a Gretsch, that's for sure.
But was it a Gibson?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
I think it was an off-brand because at the time I don't think he had money.
Okay, so he got really lucky that he got an off-brand guitar, and it just lasts so long without being
Oh, Frank's here. Hold on.
Ooh.
Frank.
Okay, I think we're in business.
That sounds better. Okay, you're right on time. We're talking about Dax's guitar. What guitar does he use? He only bought one.
He uses some random stuff.
Okay, yeah, because he was asking.
He only bought one. He only bought like a hollow body, but he did say that he took out the humbuckers and he put single coils.
There we go. See, perfect timing. We're talking about guitars.
Yeah, I knew it was a hollow body or semi-hollow. But yeah, I never knew what it was because I don't think it has a brand like Bear mentioned just now. Yeah, definitely cool sound.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
No, definitely. Like,
Iconic.
well, we'll have to get you guys together sometime on the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Frank, Carol is engaged and she's getting married. What, I think in a week or so.
Yeah, next week. By this time next week, I'll be married.
Oh,
So,
okay.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, things change,
You're still
evolve.
living in Germany?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm still living the same apartment as I did back then, and everything's still kind of the same, but some new things have come. So that's
Oh,
why.
right on. Congrats.
We kind of went
congrats.
over the breakup of As Dia Batz, and she was discussing how she kind of left the scene altogether to kind of pursue just other things, or country. She could tell you.
Yeah. It's been. It was a tough time, so I started thinking about a lot of things, and I realized that I didn't want to be in the scene anymore. But and I at some point I didn't miss it anymore. I miss some people, of course, but the concept of being in the scene is not something that I really need anymore. And so if I go to a gig today, I'm not going to feel like I have to act a certain way or be or look a certain way. I can just look like this and still enjoy the music and talk to the people, but I don't need to look like anybody else or to belong in that sense, which is something that I consider like I'm a bit like free, I guess, and I can do whatever I want. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so that's the thing, but I do miss a lot of things about it. But of course, with the end of As Dia Batz, it was kind of like a lot of it also kind of got on my nerves, really, right, about the scene and the things that happen in the scene. So I didn't want to be a part of it anymore in that sense. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally feel you. Being in the scene for like, I don't know, damn near close to 20 years, kind of, yeah, feels like that.
Yeah. It's not perfect, but it was a wild time. Like, absolutely, it was awesome.
I was telling her, Frank, how because I know how I left the scene the first time I got sober, and how my entire identity was psychobilly at one point. That's all I lived for. And then it was so weird when I left the scene and my band eventually turned metal. I was going to hang around. I was going to different shows and having different experiences. And like I said, I was so afraid to leave that lifestyle. But now that I've left, came back, it's kind of, I feel better for doing it. Like, I know I have perspective, I guess you could say, on the outside world. I can listen. I don't have to only listen to psychobilly or only look psychobilly.
Yeah, exactly. You can do it, and you will survive without it. So that's all right. And you allow yourself to be different things, to listen to different things, and to open up for other kinds of music or for whatever you would like to do, without the feeling of getting judged or not being part of something anymore, because people go like, whoa, what happened to your hair? It's so long. Well, yeah, that's it. I don't wear a clip anymore. I don't do that. And that's all right. And I like the way I look now too. So, yeah. So it's.
You still wear Doc Martens? I when I was looking up, I saw that old trailer you guys did. Yeah,
of course. I do. They're, yeah, but not that. I wear more cowboy boots. Like nowadays. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Basically every day. But
no,
store, and I tried on all the cowboy shoes, and because I have a flat foot, they're not that comfortable for me.
Oh, okay. So that's what it is about. Maybe I should start working out.
Well, flat feet, it just means you don't have an arch. Like, I have flat feet, so I have a problem with shoes too, because they're wide, and but because the cowboy boots are notoriously narrow.
Yeah.
Oh, I understood flat,
not fat.
No, a flat.
Oh,
butt.
sorry.
I thought it was like some kind of balance between like the way you move or the way you walk, and it makes it weird because your butt is flat, but good. You have
just
feet.
lacking an arch.
Yeah. No, I have arched feet, so I think it fits. Yeah.
Okay, so Frank, we were talking about earlier too, because I was mentioning how when she was on my show last time, how on the scene we like to help each other. That's one of the good things about the scene, the camaraderie. How I also helped her set up an interview with Remy and Tani for their documentary they were working on at the time, and how you let her borrow your equipment. We're talking about loaning equipment. She actually borrowed your guitar for that last for that Cyclone Festival she did, and was it 2016?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Black Gretsch.
I let a lot of people borrow it.
Okay, that's good.
And
yeah,
I used to always loan my bass out too at the time. The only time I ever had issue when I would borrow equipment is people would give me issues with amps sometimes that their settings, don't touch their settings.
I mean, you can move the knobs back, right? You can just take a picture of it or write it down. Like,
you got to be respectful, you know what I mean? Take a picture of it, put the settings back if they're that type of person.
Yeah.
But when you go to out of the country, out of the state, you're kind of bind by their rules, you know what I mean? And whatever gear you get, you should be entirely grateful for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know I am.
Yeah.
Because people let me borrow stuff before, and I'm like, oh, thank God it's a Gretsch.
Carol, what do you, since Frank's here, I was waiting for him to get here. What do you rock equipment-wise? What guitar you use? What amps you use? What was the As Dia Batz sound?
That was a Gretsch on a Fender. So preferably a twin reverb, but I used a lot of different Fender amps. But that was my favorite combo. Then with pedals, delay, reverb. And I think I used tremolo at some point too. Mostly in the beginning of As Dia Batz, I had a tremolo that I really liked. And I'm pretty sure that I used it in the recordings too of Riding Through the Devil's Hill. By the time we recorded Nightmares in Red, and I think Crazy Psycho's First Degree as well, I left the tremolo. So I was delay and reverb, basically. So clean guitar sound. It was lots of treble. Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah, Frank, did you get to hear their last album, that In the Red one she's referring to?
I'm pretty sure. I did.
Okay, yeah. So Frank, so she talked about the Cabin in the Woods song and the writing behind that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And
I told her it was my favorite.
I was in that relationship 2 years prior to the release of this album. So unfortunately, the relationship ended sometime after the album was released. And and then that's when I stopped going to gigs and kind of trying to figure out everything from what I like to look like, what I like to listen to, what kind of people I want around me, and so on. So it was a whole reevaluation of everything. Yeah.
I bet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That was good.
So since we're still on the topic, I'm still talking about the last album a little bit too before we move on. I want to talk about the artwork for it, because that's not only was that track my favorite track from you guys all together, but that album cover is really freaking cool.
It is, right? I love it. And it was Gilles who did it. Gilles Deschamps. That's a Belgian guy, and he used to play in the Garbage Bags and also the Adios Pantalones. So also a Gretsch guitarist. Yeah, awesome guy. I still talk to him sometimes. Of course, we lost a bit of touch because of the scene thing, but I kept writing him because he's a great person, and he used to be Claudia's boyfriend as well, and we got to be friends before that even. And so I was really glad that he was with my best friend. So we traveled to Mexico together and to California as well.
Okay, so Okay, because I remember when I did talk to her, because we were talking about fucking movies. On the like, I talk about movies. I think last time I talked to her about it was about some Stephen King adaptation, and she mentioned the Garbage Bags. I didn't know she was dating a guy, but she sent me like the cover, I guess, for whatever track they were doing or album they were doing.
Mhm.
Like I said, I got to hear some of it. It was pretty good, and then she didn't stay with that band for too long, did she?
No, she didn't. She, I think it was at the very end of their relationship, and then she moved back to Brazil.
Oh, I see.
What part of Brazil?
That's why. What part?
Yeah.
South of Brazil. So Curitiba, it's called.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
where we have like Psycho Carnival, and we have 2 psychobilly festivals in Curitiba, which most of the scene at that point was there, and in São Paulo. Something going on in Rio too, but yeah.
Cool. Well, going back to the guitar stuff, are you familiar with Adrian White from Australia?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, so you saw his
He's
video
awesome.
of Bear. So this guy does tutorials on how to play rockabilly music and certain songs, and he did an As Dia Batz song. He's like, I'm gonna show you guys how to play this song.
Yeah, this was something really, really cool that happened. It caught me totally off guard, because he sent me the video and he said, yeah, I love this song. And as I watched it, he was describing things I didn't know I was doing when I wrote that song. And it's my all-time favorite As Dia Batz song. It's Riding Through the Devil's Hill. And then a week later, he sent me the sheet music for my own song. And I was, I can't write music. Like I used to be able to write simple things when I was a kid, because I learned how to play the violin at like 5 or 6 years old. And so I didn't do that, and I can't do it. But seeing your own music on sheet, it's like, it was so special. And I actually wanted to frame it. Don't know if I do that, but it was great. It was great experience. And he was really, he was explaining the theory behind the song. And I didn't know any of it. I just wrote the song. I was 18 at that point. And yeah, it was awesome. The guy is awesome. Absolutely. Yeah.
Frank, she was telling me their 4th show they ever played was in Pineda.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was 2008, correct?
I wouldn't put my hand on fire for it, but I think it was 2008.
Okay, I don't want to make a mistake earlier. That was embarrassing. Luckily, I'm going to cut that out.
So when did As Dia Batz start? 2008? When did As Dia Batz start? 2007?
Yeah, that was it. 2000. I think it was the end of 2006 or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I was saying, Frank, when because we're talking about how the scene was so, we always do, how the scene was so big at the time, and how it wasn't only in the U.S. but it seems like it was everywhere, worldwide for psychobilly. It was a good sweet spot.
Very true.
Yeah.
And so you're, Frank. Hold on, let me catch my bearings. What were we talking about here? Okay, so when we were first talking about record, you were talking about psychobilly, how you were known, As Dia Batz, were known for having an 80s sound, and like that's what you prefer, right, Carol? You want to talk about that? How your preference in psychobilly and how it influenced your playing?
Yeah, I always felt like
an earlier artist.
Yeah, well, definitely Batmobile, the Meteors. Crewman was also a big influence. The early Crewman stuff is more my style, and I always liked clean guitars, because I think in underground music in general, people always go for gain, and so it was something special about it. It was something, and it kept the rockabilly feel to it too. So it was. It was more of, there was more of that 50s kind of style, and then it transformed into something that has an 80s punch. to it. So I thought it was the perfect combination, because sometimes I thought rockabilly was just a bit lame. I love rockabilly, but at some, you need a bit more to it sometimes. But the guitars of rockabilly are amazing. So
I'm with you. Like, I brought it up before on Viva, because I was actually, Frank, re-listened to an episode we did with you, 2018, because I'm updating my YouTube channel right now, right? Because I haven't used it in years. That's a whole other nightmare. But I was listening to, I was talking about the freaking what's it called, the Viva Las Vegas. And I always say that I'll do the car show, I'll do a couple of side shows, but there's no way in hell. I like rockabilly too, I like a guitar, but no way in fucking hell I'm gonna do 3 nights of just rockabilly. I'll lose my goddamn mind. Plus, I don't have the clothes for that, especially traditional.
Exactly,
Actually,
it's way too important. Yeah, it's way too important.
Go ahead.
Okay, hold on. I'm so sorry. We'll let Carol respond, then Frank.
Okay. Yeah, I think people put a lot of value on to outfits and so on, and it's fun. Don't get me wrong, like pinups and all the rest of it. But what fascinates me about rockabilly is it was really the guitar sound and the singing. The singing was also amazing, and it's a part of psychobilly that I really like to keep a bit classic too, like. Not that much into the punk part of it, but yeah, more rockabilly.
Okay, and go ahead, Frank.
I was going to say that I actually been getting more into rockabilly, and I recently saw a lame. You got to watch it, Bear. A lame rockabilly documentary on Amazon out right now about Viva. Like, I like Viva, and I'll go back, and I will stay for the 3 days of rockabilly.
I don't have the clothes for it, Frank. Not to mention, a lot of those vintage clothes, they were smaller people back then. There's no way in hell I'll fit in that. That's all you.
I've been shopping at Kohl's lately, and they have some really good cardigans. I was like, you know what? I like cardigans.
Yeah. No, the fashion looks great. Like I said, I just don't got the body for it. But the music wise, like I said, 3 days of it, I just need, because we talk about 80s traditional. I like myself, and I think Frank would agree too, that I do like the clean tone. I like it, but I still, the thing about psychobilly that was great, especially for those old shows like you mentioned, you would have bands like As Dia Batz and the clean sound, but later on the heavy bands came in. You had both, Yeah. So you got both, because I like the fast stuff. I've been on a 2000s kick lately, because like I said, we had the syndicates on. I've been having the rock on. I've been hearing the fast stuff. Dude, I fucking, for the first time forever, I heard Chibuku again. I haven't heard that band in freaking years. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, I like some of that stuff too. Like, I think not every song, but there are some special songs too. And also because I do like punk, and usually there are some songs in psychobilly where I would say, okay, if they called it punk, it would be like my favorite fucking song. But if it's called psychobilly, then it's like it's the wrong box for it, and then it puts me off of it, like strangely. And but it's just my taste, and I appreciate people who don't have or don't share that. It's fine, and But
then again, I couldn't handle 3 nights of only that style of psychobilly. I'm gonna need that clean tone. I'm gonna need the rockabilly sound too. So I need that mixture. I need psychobilly. I need that mix.
Yeah, I think that's important for me. Yeah. Yeah, it's what makes the scene special. There's room for everyone. You can appreciate every band for what they do, for what they create, and still have your own style. So
I like that. There's room for everyone, Frank. You hear that? That means I could be involved too.
They, them. No, I'm just kidding.
Frank, so you can actually talk about this too, considering that you're I'm not really in the scene. I'm a spectator at this point. Carol's left completely, but you're still deep in it. You're still performing constantly. You're still putting music out. You're deep in it right now. And you have a sound too that's a bit heavier, but your guitar playing too has let's talk about your playing.
Oh, it has cleaned up. I grew up with the heavier sound, But as a guitar player, as the times went by, I was like, you know what? That's too heavy.
Yeah.
I was like, let me dial back the gain and let me get to this, like how Andy, from Moonshine Stalkers, that clean, dirty sound.
Yes.
Right there.
Yes.
You got it.
Where you could, if you just play a little soft, you can sound rockabilly. If you want to dig in, and you know what, the Reverend Horn Heat does that too as well. And really, when you clean up your sound, it's crazy because it makes you a better guitar player because you can hear all your mistakes.
Yeah. The gain is really forgiving, but if it's just the clean channel, you're on your own. You have to deliver.
It's all you, and I respect that. I respect that a lot. With the guitar, with the rockabilly guitar players, you know what I mean? They're over there just playing clean tone and just rocking and just bluesing it up, jazzing it up, whatever they do,
But they get those bands too, like we had recently on the Neurotics, and those guys play really clean, but their sound has balls, it's strong still. It's fucking really, it's a good blend, And he says it's very basic. He just has one pedal. How many pedals does he have? Like one pedal he keeps in the plastic bag. He doesn't have any fancy equipment. Just a guitar, the cable, the pedal, but it has just because they don't want that old school style, but they made it their own.
They're good guitar players. They're good musicians.
Yeah. Well, Neurotics, Test Pilots, they're all amazing. And they're awesome people. Like, I love these guys. They're really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. They're really, really friendly. I guess they said that's kind of like what their culture is.
Swedish people are the best, really. It's I almost moved to Sweden and I wanted to live there, but there was a change in plans and then I didn't do that. But I always felt like really good there, and I used to hang out with these guys, Neurotics and Test Pilots and so on, and they're awesome. And so they can know their music too.
I haven't met the Test Pilots yet. I'm going to soon, of course. But Neurotics, like I said, me and Frank had the pleasure of having a sit down with them. It was supposed to be an hour episode, went on for about 2 hours. I'm like, I don't want to cut it. Should I cut it? Nah, I let it go. And they got fucking hammered. I probably should have trimmed it down, but I was having so much fun with them because I really got to know them as people. And it's, like I said, they were really friendly.
Yeah, they're lovely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But going back to what I'm saying is their sound. It's clean tone, but it's a little bit of grit.
Yeah.
And like I said, so I there's room for everyone. I like the clean. I love the heavy, but I love psychobilly. I think I just love psychobilly, Carol.
I think you do. Well, I do love it too. Like I have all my records. I'm never getting rid of them. But it's like I got tired of seeing the same, and I think if I go to a gig tonight, I'm gonna enjoy it. That's for sure. But I don't know if I'm ever going to have a psychobilly band again. And I can't tell. You can never tell. You can never say never. But right now, I wouldn't do it. But it could be that at some point, it happens again. I don't know. Yeah.
So you said something very interesting in the very beginning of the episode, how once you left the scene, you found yourself listening and dressing similar to the way you were before you got into psychobilly, like when you were 15. Like, what are you listening to now? I'm kind of like, where are you at now?
I listen to...
and I won't judge. I listen to some other shit too that's not psychobilly that would totally... Yeah, you would... Like, what are you listening to? It's like, leave me alone.
I listen to so much. A lot of 60s and 70s stuff. Ranging from like rock to like over to soul and or just like northern soul and all that kind of stuff as well. A bit mod beat and that stuff. Or I was listening to a lot of rocksteady and reggae from the 60s today. I listen to a lot of country, mostly the old stuff. But I have my guilty pleasures too, that like from the 80s or something, or 90s even. Don't judge me. But yeah, it's a wild mix. If you would see my Spotify, then you would be like, okay, and that's kind of weird. And I got more into Brazilian music for some reason, which
Wait,
I never
what is
really
Brazilian
understood.
music?
Brazilian music is samba. I don't like a lot of samba, but I have some favorites. And also, there's a lot of folk stuff from where we come from in the South. It's our country music, so to speak.
So you're from Curitiba as well?
Yeah, I am.
Is that the proper way to pronounce it?
Yeah, it is. You did a good job. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't listen to that every day, but at some days I just say like, well, now I'm feeling like it, and I allow myself to just explore a bit more. And I do listen to a lot of rockabilly, and psychobilly it's got a bit less, I must say, but it's still there, obviously. Yeah.
Well, take it from me, because I left the scene a long time ago for the first time. It'll come back. It's going to come back because I took a long fucking break from it. I couldn't listen to it because at the time, not only did I just need a break from it because my life was so fucking chaotic at the time from all the drugs and drinking. When I would listen to psychobilly, it would take me back, and like I'd get frightened. It would put my mindset back in the way I was. And as time went on, as I got further away from it, now I look back on it fondly. When I listen to music, like I mentioned, I heard Chibuka. I haven't heard that in fucking like 10 years or something. Like I it's gonna come back. I look at it fondly now. It's like, oh man, it puts me in a good place now. But I'm also too with you as the guilty pleasure. Same thing with I'm talking about puts you in a good place. 90s music, because I grew up in the 90s. I was like when I was a kid, so it takes you back to that time too. That was a fun time of music, and 80s as well. So I'm with you on that, especially with a Spotify mixed list, because even though physical media is the best, I don't do it because I'm terrible. And and the thing with Spotify is it's so accessible, all the different kinds of music, and then you put the random playlist. It makes it so simple, and it's bad and good to it. But
yeah, and it's all there. Whatever you want to find, it's mostly there. Even like small bands, they're all there, and then it obviously it sucks that they pay
because it takes away from their profit too, and they don't get anything out of it. That's why I'm saying it's bad. But as a customer, consumer, a fan, it's really good because it's all fucking there, and like it's very convenient to have that really really weird mix. I'll have As Dia Batz on, then like I said, you have the Brazilian music,
Mm-hmm.
And the next song will be something else.
Advertising too. I found a lot of new bands. Yeah. And I found a lot of new things to listen to through Spotify. So it also plays a role in that too. Like in just kind of making music accessible and spreading out all the new bands that need that support. And some bands that I listen to, they made it through Spotify because they got to be recommended all the time.
Yeah.
Just because the algorithm made its job, made it happen.
You may also like this, and I found bands that way too. Before, originally, you'd have to go to a concert and like see, okay, you get the opening band,
Yeah.
Or you've been at a record shop and the guy would recommend, oh, you like this? Listen to this. So it's more word of mouth. Or as you mentioned earlier too, someone will post on MySpace.
Yeah, for example. But it was, I think some people were protective of their new coming bands and so on. Like I remember cassettes, and people used to share cassettes and kind of replicate them. And and do like tape mixes and so on. And if you didn't like a person, you wouldn't give out your cassettes for for that.
I don't want this lame person listening to my really cool band.
Exactly, that's my band. And
I don't want this lame person showing up to a concert I'm going to.
Yeah, which is kind of stupid. I get it, but it was
it is stupid. But at the time, I was all for. At the time, you're young.
Yeah, and you did the work. You found the band, so you get to keep it. And now it's all out there, so it's also cool, you know.
You just type a genre and you'll get a fucking playlist or what they think you might like.
Yeah, but I still buy records. That's I love the feeling of listening to a record and like just having that analog experience, just reading something on paper and you know writing things down instead of typing things. Or I think there's something really satisfying about it. So I keep doing it.
This is probably a me problem. I noticed now when I had to write stuff because I had to fill out documents recently. My writing's never been great, but it seems like even more so now. It's really just shitty, like really shitty. I'm like so used to typing things. So when I try to write, I'm like, oh my God, it looks like I'm writing in crayon.
Yeah, you lose practice. That's the problem.
I had to write a statement for work one time. I think I was the only person to do this. I had to type it out first, then copy and write it because I didn't have that. I couldn't do it. It's been so long since I wrote a full page on my own of just saying anything that would. It's all just type, autocorrect, spell, everything's there.
Mm-hmm. I do typos as well when I'm writing, like handwriting, like you know when you switch two letters. Weirdly, that happens to me now when I'm writing things down by hand, which is like a typical thing that you do on your phone. Like you just type one letter before the other, and it's kind of it is kind of changing the way I. Yeah. But yeah, about the music, I think the records, like vinyl records, will always be there, and you know, it's, for me at least.
Hey, Frank, how do you feel about Spotify? I know the Quaranteds are on there.
Oh, yeah, we're on there. I like it. I use it a lot. You know what I mean? I use it. You know, I have my own playlist, 90s, 80s. Really, everything she listens to, I probably listen to as well.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you get like, oh man, I heard this song for the past 10 years. Let me change it. But then you still go to another song that you heard that for the past 10 years as well.
Yeah. And you forget the songs you were into, which is why I started to keep like a diary or whatever, a journal. And I write down the song I was listening to that day. Like I usually fixate on a certain song. Like I hyper focus on that song for like days, and I write it down, and usually like a little musical note, and then the song name. And when I look back, you know, into my older journals, then I go like, oh, wow, that song is awesome. I haven't listened to that in like years, and it was like my favorite song for that week, for sure. So yeah, that's a way to keep it like.
It's funny you mentioned forgetting about songs too, because I found myself like that too. In that situation when I was moving recently, I found old not only mix but just actual CDs because I don't use CDs anymore. What's it called? I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about this. Oh my God, I forgot I used to listen to this band. Oh, I found an old shirt that doesn't fit anymore. Oh my God, I completely forgot about this. And before that, you would remember it because you had your collection up in front of you. You had your collection either displayed or in your car, or you couldn't forget it because you had it. And also too, I'm having a hard time connecting bands now to album covers. I was able to do it with you, but like for general, like before, remember you seen an album cover, you would know right away what it was. I don't have that connection anymore like I used to with music.
Okay.
There's Psycho Mix 3.
Oh yeah. Sick. No, it was Sick Psycho Mix, Sicker Psycho Mix. yeah. As we got deeper into singing, you start getting those bands you don't want anyone to know about, you know, and then yeah.
But that's the thing. Like if you do like mixes and playlists, you know, all the work that a band puts into creating like an album that has kind of like a concept, it kind of goes away. So I really try to listen to full albums more and more because you know, with Spotify you can just put one song on and it will recommend all the other songs that kind of fit into that box somehow. But just putting on an album it's you know, you understand what the artist was doing there, and it's
especially you hear that little skipped dun dun. Like biggest example of that is I can't listen to Big Sky unless Bass the Bad is right after it. I can't hear them separately; they have to be together.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's interesting. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
back in our day.
We're just, yeah, it's a part of aging, I guess. Yeah, but we have
just
to say, like,
technology. But
yeah.
also, too, you guys it's what you did for the longest time, or what Frank still does, or what you guys still do is you create music, and the way it's changing, the business of it. So it's interesting to talk about.
Yeah, I'm open for change. Like, I think MySpace was something that changed things a little bit. Like, bands started getting discovered, so to speak, very quickly, which was our case. It helped us get the gig in Pineda. That was the thing. So I'm all for it. But of course, there's a certain. It's not a balanced proportion of like distribution of money. The money goes all to Spotify, and the bands aren't getting much of it. But
yeah,
as an advertising tool, it is a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how did COVID affect live shows out there for you? I know you're not in the scene as much anymore, but as far as not just psychobilly, but other concerts you're going to now, are you still active? Do you still actively go to shows now? Is everything back to normal?
Yeah. Well, here it's all good, and of course at that point when COVID hit, it was all closed, and the only problem, I think, something that really got affected here is pubs and bars. A lot of cool clubs and bars closed. I don't know why. I think people, well, of course, because of the years that they were closed anyway, because of lockdown. But after that, there seems to be like a lack in demand for pubs, at least here in Europe or in Germany. And I feel like, I had apprentices in my last job. Like, so I was their mentor, and they were like 18. And like, it was a boy and a girl, and they didn't know what it was like to have a beer somewhere. Like, of course, we can't drink in Germany at 16. Like, you can drink beer. You can't drink the hard stuff. That's the other thing. But they don't know what it is, what it's like to just go to a pub and talk to people. They go to the fitness studio for that. They go to the gym. So it's kind of like great for them, but the music culture is really dependent on bars. Whether you drink alcohol or not, it's like, you have to get in contact with people. You need to go play pool and talk about all kinds of random shit.
Well, not only just live music, but even say DJs, people who spin vinyl, or just the other DJs. Like, that's part of it too. Music, bar culture. That's how you hear. Oh, what song is this?
Yeah, exactly. It generates conversation. You make friends, and you exchange like knowledge about music. So I think that's the loss that we see here, at least. Bands are going strong. Like, they're still playing concerts. Yeah, but pubs closed. And how is it with you guys, like in where you live?
Frank?
It's going strong right now. There's a lot of shows. Psychobilly right now, it's there's not too many shows, but sometimes when there's too many shows, like, people kind of pick and choose which one to go to, and now it's kind of like maybe like one show every 3 months, or there might be like a couple of months where it's like nothing, and then all of a sudden you got 3 shows in 1 month, but primarily it's like the ska and the punk shows that are happening more out here, and the crust. Yeah. People like crust out here.
Psychobilly definitely has taken a back seat. When we had the syndicates on, like, I was going through the flyer. Oh, this band was on. This band was on. Yeah, but we're like we're on all those bands. Like, one plays drums for that band, one plays guitar. They're all like interweaved, like the bands now, the members. Yeah, interchangeable, the members. So it's small, but like I said, at least there's still. I saw Damage Done by Worms come out pretty soon too. That'd be cool.
Yeah, they're gonna come out in October.
Yeah, so we still it's there. Like I said, venues are still open. I mean, or everything's open again. So As far as bars and pubs, as far as I could see, yeah. I know a lot of places closed and didn't open up again. But
COVID was a lie.
Yeah. It seems, yeah, it's amazing to think how far along, it's been, what, 4 years now since that happened. And, just the impact still kind of, I guess, lingers as far as
for sure. Like when COVID first happened, I was like, music is done. It's over. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, October, I think it was in September of 2020, Chris was like, you want to play a show? And I'm like, what the fuck? Are you crazy? He's like, oh, they're giving us this time slot. And I was like, well, I'll play. I'll show up when we play, and then I'm leaving right away. And they're like, okay, that's fine. And I showed up, and there was like 200 kids there, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is insane.
And then you caught it after the whole wave went through. What, 2020 with the guitarist show you played?
COVID?
Yeah, you finally caught it later. Yeah,
I can't even remember when I got COVID, but yeah, sure I was doing other shit too, though. I probably. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's because I think the reason I remember is because I think I was looking around having you because you joined the show in 2019, Carol. Right? You started popping in because Carol was at the show when we had the other Frank, the other sound guy, Frank, and then Frank just kind of came on as a camera guy and
Francisco.
Co-host. Yeah, Francisco, and he's I got to have at least one cool guy who plays guitar on the show now, so it's like that's where he fills in. I'm like, oh, good, he's here. We can talk about guitars.
Yeah.
So plus, when are you going to come back to Los Angeles or the USA, Carol?
I don't have anything planned, but I am going to Mexico this year.
City?
No, I'm going to Oaxaca. So I'm going to the Day of the Dead. So I always wanted to see it, and that's our honeymoon. That's what it's going to be.
Nice.
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah, November. So yeah.
Ooh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Well, next time you come back over here, let us know, and we'll go out and get some Roscoe's chicken and waffles.
Oh yeah. I still think about that. Man, it's such a wild mix, but it's so good. It's like everybody I tell that about it, like, they just can't. They don't get it. But I say to them, well, I understand perfectly why you think this is crazy, but you have to try it, and then you'll know.
What were some other spots you hit when you were out here? I know because what was it? Lycus Dan was driving you guys around. What were some other notable eating spots, I guess you could say, that you experienced?
Oh, let's see. I think some random things, like we had a lot of tacos and burritos and stuff, and they were good. So, but I don't remember any names or something. Yeah, we wanted to go to the Rainbow too, but something came up and then we didn't. And then afterwards, I heard that Lemmy was there that night, and I was like,
yeah, I was gonna say he's always there.
Yeah, it was like the one in a lifetime chance to meet Lemmy, and we blew it. So, yeah. But otherwise, I love LA. I thought it was really cool to be there. Even, Bear, when you say Hollywood isn't all that. I thought it was cool to see, like,
Hollywood.
Yeah. And then we went to the Museum of Death and Amoeba Records and so on.
Wait, the Museum of Death? Is that the Scientology one? The Museum of Psychiatric? Oh, are we talking about the same one here?
The Museum
and the beginning of it is very Nazi.
Oh, okay. I don't think it was that one. The Museum of Death is all about serial killers and so on. So they have original shit that the serial killers were when they were doing their stuff, or like all kinds of memorabilia and
I heard about that one. Yeah,
crazy stuff.
Yeah.
I work in Hollywood now.
Oh, that's right. So you see it firsthand. You're out there in the streets.
I'm in the slums, dude. I'm on Hollywood Boulevard with all the crazies, and they're crazy.
That's what it does. Hollywood is the way it is. I mean, I like to like observe places like that. I think it's interesting. Like it's kind of like the underworld, you know. But I don't think I could live there. But you know,
Yeah,
I don't
It's
have
just
to
like
go there every day if it's not for a job. But you know,
Yeah.
it's a,
like everywhere though, it has nice parts. There's certain parts that some pockets that are pretty nice. So that's like anywhere you move to, I'm sure. Like I've never been to Brazil or Curitiba. How do I say it?
very good.
Oh, thank God. The pressure was on.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up there, though? Since you were from there, I know you mentioned you played violin as a kid, but all I know about Brazil is from what I've seen in documentaries or movies. What was it like growing up out there?
So yeah, Curitiba is it's a bit colder than you would expect Brazil to be, and a bit more European somehow. And growing up there was really cool because we always had a really cool underground scene in general. So I grew up going to punk rock gigs, and we had like a punk rock record shop where my sister used to work. And so every day after school, it was like 10, and I would go to the shop and listen to records for the rest of the day. And it was a big scene. I think it still is. A lot of people I know still, and a lot of bands, lots of musicians, lots of places to eat, to go have a drink or something. So it was a lot of it was a lot of things going on.
How's the acai there?
Sorry?
How's the acai there?
The acai there sucks. Yeah, it's no good.
Yeah, so
You know,
Frank.
if you
Frank
want to
is-
have acai, you have to go to the north, and then
Wait, so what is that again? Is that something you smoke, or is it like a drug? I've heard.
Oh, dude, it's not a drug. It's like a
it?
yogurt.
It's a yogurt. Okay. Is it that like purple stuff?
Yeah,
It's
well,
made from like
acai
a
is
berry.
like,
It's a berry.
yeah, it is a berry.
Okay. I don't know
It's
why.
like
Okay, I know
frozen.
what it is now. I've had it before.
A drug.
I don't know why, because the way you
Well,
said,
you know-
"Oh, good acai," I'm like, wait, hold on. Okay, it's that berry that, like, yeah, it's like I've had it. Funny enough, I had it with my friends, the jiu-jitsu people I knew. Used to go there after class
course.
sometimes because I guess it's healthy.
Somewhat.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of people mix it with guarana, which is another berry that gets you going. It's like lots of, I don't know if it's caffeine or it has something that keeps you awake. It's like crazy. So they mix it, and that's like you can eat it like with bananas and granola or something. But the people in Brazil that really know the real acai, they're in the north, and they eat it completely different, and it's awesome. And they think that our acai sucks. I like it, but I know it sucks. Like, you know. So yeah, but we do have it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I remember when you had you on a long time ago, we were talking about like what you do outside of music for fun or what your interests were. I know we were talking about television, of course, movies. You mentioned how you like Sex in the City. I'm curious to what other American shows or culture that you picked up on while in Brazil growing up. Like, what were some of the things that kind of you guys would watch out there? I'm just curious because, like I said, it's totally foreign to me.
Okay. Well, I grew up watching Friends.
I knew fucking Friends. It was the tip of my tongue. I knew it was Friends.
Everyone did. Like it's
Who earns?
the whole world did. I mean, they're boomers now, but we were like millennials. So
Yeah.
yeah. But what else? The Office. But it wasn't that big in Brazil. I don't know why, but I love that. So what else?
Because this is before streaming, so I'm trying to think what was on television. Because now you can get anything out there streaming wise. So
Yeah, exactly.
but I'm talking about like in say the 90s or early 2000s when you were growing up. Because I think we're close at age. I know Frank's a little
All the
younger than me.
Yeah, all the sitcoms, like all of those, they were on all the time. Like 2.5 Men and
Oh, okay.
like Mad About You, or what was it? Something like that. Like all of those
Were they in English or were they translated? Were they dubbed over?
they were translated with like subtitles.
okay.
But it depends, because if you had cable, you would get subtitles, and if you were watching on like the normal channel, then it would be dubbed over, and that was bad. It was like the dub overs were good, but they were not like, you lose a lot of the humor and the delivery. So
Yeah.
I don't do that, and Germans do that a lot. It's like if you go to the movies here, it's all in German. All American movies are dubbed over, and I think it's insane. So I travel to Holland. I live like a half hour away from Holland, and I travel like I drive there to watch movies.
Half hour. Wow.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like Belgium is also not that far, which is why I wanted to move here, like in this area, because you're everywhere. Like you can go to Cologne or Düsseldorf, or then you go to Amsterdam. It's like an hour. Paris is like 2.5 hours away. Brussels as well. So it's all here.
Hold on one second. Keep going, Frank.
What happened? Oh, he said, hold on. But that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Living in that area. Wow. I liked Holland. Very cold. You know, I'm from SoCal, so I like the heat. So I'm pretty sure if I ever go to Brazil, I'll like Brazil. My friend just came back from Brazil. I can't tell you the town because I don't.
Okay.
Can't
Was
pronounce
it hot or was it?
It was hot. He said it was beautiful. He said it was
Oh.
summertime right now.
That's nice, because I kind of miss that. Like Germany, it's really cold now too, although it's spring. But yeah, it's. I made some choices, and I guess the one thing I regret is like, okay, the weather was better, even though Curitiba doesn't have the best weather, because it's like really and rainy and kind of, you know. But yeah. But yeah, you should go to Brazil. And Curitiba has a lot going on, and they still have psychobilly festivals there.
Oh yeah.
And I think you guys would, like, people would love you there. So it would be
Nice.
really cool. Yeah.
We would love to go over there. That'd be
I
really
saw
awesome.
I saw Dax posted your shit recently.
Yes, he did. He told me about it. He
I was
messaged
like,
me.
motherfucker, that's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, when he was like, "Oh, I was listening to this CD," and I was like, "What?"
So, Carol, me and Frank are both really, really big Goddess Like a Creep fans. So, you know, we mentioned his name, our eyes pop open like.
That's awesome. I love them too. Yeah.
Yeah, like when I had it's this perfect psychobilly. It's got that Western like clean tone, but it also has that grind to it, like we mentioned earlier. And I love his fucking singing.
Yes, absolutely. Great voice. And it's kind of moody too. Like it's got an atmosphere.
Yeah. Cool. Like that guitar tutorial thing he did too, when he was just playing guitar and talking about his style and how he found it. Did you see that thing on YouTube for the back?
Yeah.
Thing? Oh my God.
Yeah, I have. It's, awesome. Yeah.
So he got it right the first time he bought a guitar. How long did it take for you to find the right one? Because you mentioned when you were young, you played the violin. How long until you got a guitar in your hand?
Oh, that's 5 years later. When I was 10, I had like a bad copy of a Fender Stratocaster, and I don't remember the brand, but it was bad. Yeah, that's when I lost interest for the violin. And then at 15, I got this other guitar. It was a semi-hollow body, I think. It wasn't a full hollow. So it looked good, but it had tuning problems. Like it wouldn't keep the, you know. So when I was 15, that was my birthday present. And then when I was 18, I got my Gretsch here in Germany when I was in Holland. So I always knew that I wanted a Gretsch, because when I got that semi-hollow body, I knew like, okay, that's my jam. So yeah, 3 years later, I got my hands on a Gretsch, and I still have it, and I haven't got a new guitar after that. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm kind of
Gretch
Yeah,
is
you
the
can
sound. What's up?
Okay. You have anything for that, Frank?
Oh, I said Gretch is the sound. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Everyone, Stray Cats, Reverend Horny Heat,
Yeah.
Eddie Cochran, Chet
Yeah.
Atkins. Man.
Yeah. And the list goes on. And I do like Telecasters a lot, obviously because of country. So it's a twangy, kind of like a, it has an attitude to it. And I played, our and our last concert it was in LA. So our very last concert with As Dia Batz. I played a Telecaster with a Bixby.
With the Bixby, yeah.
It was a dream. Also, so I've been playing with the thoughts of getting a Telecaster, but for that I would have to have a band where I play e-guitar, electric guitar. So I think if I get a new guitar, then I need a band for it too. Otherwise, it's just going to be in the case the whole time. So, and I play, like with my new project, I play the mandolin. So it's kind of,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
That's pretty cool.
kind of doesn't make sense to invest in a new guitar that I'm not going to play that often,
Mm.
But it's a little dream too.
All right, I'm going to ask you
That
something.
Telecaster was really nice. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. I wanted to. You mentioned your very last show in LA, right? Last show with As Dia Batz. I don't. Hopefully, I'm not bringing up too much drama. But during that last show, did you know that was going to be your last show together?
Yeah, we did.
That was already.
They
agreed
posted about it. They said it's going to be the last show. I believe so, right? Yeah.
I don't remember if we posted, but I don't think we did because I don't think we wanted to advertise it that way.
I know they posted that Claudia was leaving the band, but I didn't see them post that. I didn't know. I knew there was trouble, but I didn't know that was going to be the last show because, like I said, we won't bring up details, but everyone knew there was trouble stirring up at that time.
I think it was obvious that it was going to be the last show because we said that there was, like, Claudia posted about the whole thing. So it was obvious that the band was going through shaky, times. So, and then we played that gig. We knew, absolutely. We knew it was the last one. And it was awesome because of it, because we gave it all. And, I was like all in with Claudia in that gig. Like we just rocked it and we didn't look back. So.
And there wouldn't be a chance of you ever playing with a different drummer, right? That was the last. That's one and done. That last show.
Yeah, I guess we were a bit traumatized, so we wanted to let it sink in for a while, and we couldn't imagine playing it with somebody else because we were like a unit. And, we went through so much together that. Yeah, it was who we were. As Dia Batz were really these three people. And so getting someone else in, it would have to be Claudia and I are As Dia Batz and some other person is a guest because it was our baby, so to speak. And it was hard to imagine sharing that with somebody the way we shared it with Clau at that time.
I know a girl drummer.
Yeah, you do.
I do.
That's what I'm kind of hinting at. If you ever want to come back, I'm pretty sure I could find a drummer for you. We can find a drummer for you. You can
Tanya.
stay at Frank's. You can stay at Frank's place. Oh, Tanya Lasagna.
Tanya.
Oh yeah, she doesn't hate me anymore either. So if I ask her, she might say yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Claudia is playing the bass at the moment. I knew that she had a bass guitar at home that she used to play a bit, but I don't think she was playing in the band at all. And I didn't either. Like I haven't had a band in a while, which is super weird to me. But I've tried, it just didn't really work till now. And I don't know. It's like I can't really imagine that it's going to happen, but I can't say 100% that it wouldn't. Like it
Well,
wouldn't
I
work.
know for sure there's promoters watching this because they follow the show. Make a good offer, respectfully, of course. As Dia Batz plus special guest, the drummer. We don't want to,
But it would have to be a girl, right? So
Yeah.
that's the one prerequisite to
It has
do
to be a
this.
girl, and the quartets could open up for you.
We could.
Yeah, that would be fun.
That would be fun because you use your back line. Look at me, I'm making plans for you. I'm so sorry. I've been doing this lately. I gotta stop it. I'll stop now. I'm being selfish. I want to hang out with you and see you guys live again.
Bear, you might have planted a seed. So,
Okay.
I won't say that, that it would never happen. So,
I'll
be.
even go to Hollywood for it. How about that?
Okay. Although, I really like playing in Long Beach too. So if we could take a trip there, would also be
Alex's bar.
Yeah. Oh, Alex's, dude.
The last show was actually at a venue that is not there anymore. What was it called?
It was it was something.
Some bar.
It was where
it was
Gordon started as well.
Yeah. Slide bar. It was Slide bar.
Slide. Okay, with F. It was an F. Slide.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. Okay, hopefully I planted a seed. Hopefully I'm not stirring up anything. But yeah, I don't know. I'm having fun. Like I said, I'm so stoked. I'm glad we made this happen because Frank, I thought she was an hour late, but she was actually on time. I was an hour early because of the time change out here. And it worked out because I was able to get Frank on the show because as Frank mentioned, he works now in Hollywood. He's got a new job. And I primarily do the shows on Sundays, so it really wasn't working for him. So I was actually happy to get him in here.
Yeah, I'm glad to. I'm really happy.
All right. So we've been going for a little while. We're going to wrap it up pretty soon. So we've talked about the past. We talked about the present. Let's talk about the future, your new project, mandolin, direction, name, any information on that? Because I know you said things were still cooking.
Yeah, we're still on that because, I'm part of a benefit that's going to happen it's going to take place in April. And it's like 12 musicians or 13. We all got together and we're playing a bunch of songs like from punk through ska, rockabilly, psychobilly, country, Americana, whatever. And so I met these two other guys and like we have a set list ready. We just don't have a name yet, but it's going to be probably me on the mandolin for most of the time. Great chicken picker and an awesome bass player, and probably like slide guitars and so on. Probably gonna come on top of that. So that's the plan. And I have a lot of country songs that I wrote when I was like 15.
Really?
I have a lot of those in the drawer somewhere. And they're probably going to be the ones being played by this band now. Yeah. So it's actually an extension of a project that I've been working on for a few years now, but we started right before COVID. So COVID kind of put like an awkward break into this. So after COVID, we never really picked up because we started focusing on other things, on our professional careers and whatever. So it kind of got difficult to work with this project, but now with more people, maybe, it's going to happen. And I think it's a different thing. I don't sound the same when I sing country, obviously, but it's going to be cool. Yeah, that's the plan.
All right. I'm looking forward to it because I remember you said last time you were hoping for September. Then we moved to February. Then you're like, you know what? Let's just do the show. I'm like, all right, let's do the show.
Yeah, but that's what's been happening in the background because I've been trying to get that project going, and then now we have this benefit, and it all came together. And I think this is the moment where it's really going to happen. because it's hard to find the right people. And in Germany, people don't play a lot of American music like that, like country or something. And if you can't find the musicians, like if you can't find a decent fiddle player or something, then or a banjo player or whatever, it's hard to do. Like you need the right people. Yeah.
All right. So we're going to wrap it up right now. But first, I got to compliment you on your background, your apartment. Very nice decor. I like it.
Oh, thank you. That's
Is that something you're into too as well? Like, because I follow your Instagram. Looks like you're into furniture and.
Yeah.
There's
sure. I have a lot of like vintage things and like 50s furniture and like all the old stuff, like this lamp.
Yeah, I like that.
It's very old, and I have another one just right in front of me. Like I'm crazy lamp lady.
You're a crazy lamp lady.
Oh yeah, I'm crazy lamp lady. So thank you.
All right then. So Frank, do you have anything for Carol before we wrap it up?
No. Hopefully we see you soon, and can't wait to hear the new music. And good luck in your future endeavors.
Yeah, thank you. You too. And I hope you go to Brazil with the quartet.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you come back to Europe, I'll probably be there.
Hopefully one or the other. Go down there, Brazil, grapple some people. No.
Oh, yeah, that's the problem.
At a contest? You mean at a concert? You just can go to a show and grapple some
There was an incident with a band.
You never know who knows.
Yeah.
All right. So this is Beer with Bear podcast with Carol B. Rebbel. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Ben.